Hello everybody, my name is Scott Chacon. I'm the CEO of Git Butler, and I also happen to be a certified wine expert. And today on Bits and Boo, you know what? It's still very, very cold out. I'm going back. That's much better. All right, today, part 2 of Gerrit Code Review with Dani Sassoli. Let's dive right in.
Scott, do you want to tell us how to spell Caesar?
Let's suggest an edit.
Yeah, but look, so I highlighted Caesar, and I don't know what you guys are on about. It's clearly telling me to press C, so we'll press C.
All right.
And we'll suggest an edit, and
suggest an edit, and then it's capital C for 1.
Thank you.
And then I'm gonna look this up.
C-A-E-S-A-R?
C-A-E-S-A-R.
There we go. All right. So
Julius Caesar walks into a bar and asks for a martini. Perfect.
All right.
It's a good punchline. All right.
So let's publish this comment.
Yep.
Can I apply my own edits? That's a great question. Yes, I can. So what this is gonna do, it's gonna put Gerrit in a state where I'm now, there you go. I'm now editing. So I'm now on an edit patch set. All right.
Don't know what that means.
So I'm just editing this patch set. So I could be doing anything in here.
All right. So now how do you pull this back?
Publish edit.
All right. You publish it.
Give it a second.
To that
there
branch.
We go.
It's not different than submitting.
It's definitely different from submitting.
Right.
I've looked what's happened here.
Right.
I've created a new patch set. So now we've gone from having patch set 1 to having patch set 2.
So this is interesting. It's an interesting difference, right? Because I think a lot of people that will be watching this have done GitHub or GitLab stuff for a long time. And so they used to branch-based review.
Yes.
This is not creating a new commit.
No.
This is rewriting the commit you have.
Yes.
But you have it as a different patch set, right?
The commit is the unit of work, right? Here, what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to add Scott's first joke. Obviously, there's going to be iterations of that joke, and the patch sets are how you iterate over the unit of work that you're trying to get into the branch that you're targeting.
We had a comment.
Yep.
Read this comment. We had a change set.
Yep.
We've had a -2. So
not good.
And now we have a fix applied, right?
Yes,
for
but this is still
changing the thing, which is orthogonal to what the problem set is of the comment, which is this needs a punchline.
Yes.
So now let's add the punchline.
So what I'm going to do now is, and you can do this all by shortcuts, but I'm not going to do it now. So there's this download command here. Because I've edited on
Hold
the
on.
UI,
What did you click? Because there's 47 things that just showed up, and I need to know what you clicked.
I clicked download.
All right, you clicked download.
But why? Why did I
Shortcut
click?
D.
Yes.
And it shows you a bunch of Git commands, right? To be able to do.
So what's happened here is that I've applied the fix in the UI. So the server knows that I've fixed that, but my client, my checked out version of Git doesn't. Right?
Because you don't have a branch as a arbiter, right?
Even if I did though, I would still need to pull it. If I had
you would need to pull it, right? But like it would be clear in the client, like there's something on the server that you don't have locally, and so like you'd have to force push or something like that, and that has a whole different set of problems. This is trying to say, here's a bunch of different ways to resolve this. What I find interesting is how complicated this is, because there's 7 different ways of accomplishing
And I only ever use one.
Which is what?
The checkout.
All right.
I've actually never used, you sometimes use the cherry pick. The cherry pick comes in handy. We can discuss that later.
Yeah.
But 95% of the time, I use the checkout. So let's do that. So I've copied it now. I go back to my repo. I paste
And if you're good at Git, obviously this makes sense. But if you're not, if you're not super good at Git, like it's kind of magic,
it's
right?
And when I started using,
just for 1 second, why is that the option that you use the most?
So the branch option, first of all, it's how I was taught. That's number 1. But the branch option, I've tried it and it actually doesn't make all that much sense. I thought I would find it familiar, but I really don't. It's just not referenced anywhere, and it makes more confusion at the end of the day. I've got my commit, I've checked out. I'm in detached head state, I believe, and I don't care about it.
Whenever anybody's in a detached head state, this is maybe the most confusing state that any Git user finds themselves in at any point ever.
Yes. I don't even know what it definitely means.
Yeah, I mean, a detached head state is that head it's pointing to a specific commit and not to a branch, right?
Exactly.
And so it's saying, this is checked out into your working directory, because what we're doing is saying, let's check this out, whatever state this is with the change that you've made, the Caesar change. let's put it in the working directory and say, this is what the state is, but there's no branch that's tracking.
There's no branch.
Right? There's nothing that if I commit, I can move forward and say, okay, this is the next state of this, right? Like, I don't know what to do if you commit now, is kind of what this says.
Essentially.
Yeah.
So, I've checked out I'm in detached mode. I've checked out the commit, the patch set that I want. And that's pretty much it, really. So I'm actually curious to know what this joke is going to be now.
So I have gone onto the Gerrit server. I've seen the comment. I've seen there's no punchline for this. And I'm like, oh man, I forgot the punchline for this.
Yeah.
So Julius Caesar walks into a bar and asks for a martinum. The bartender says, "You mean martini?"
Yeah.
Caesar replies, "No, I only want one." As an Italian, you must appreciate this joke.
I do, but I'm also like, what the, like, I was intrigued by this joke, and it sounds like one of my jokes. Like,
you can also say it as a Martinus, right? Which is like cactus and cacti.
Yeah, okay.
But linguistically, technically, Martinum in this case, it would be one drink. But like, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we have...
You sound like, have you ever seen Life of Brian?
What?
Life of Brian. Have you ever watched
of course.
When they put him on the wall, and I was like, how do you spell Romans go home?
No, the first declination. So...
Right, so now we've modified the README. How do we get this up onto the server, right? And keep in mind, we want to edit the same commit because it's the same unit of work. I'm still trying to get that joke.
Right.
I'm not trying to
get the joke up. It's a hilarious Latin joke that everybody will find funny.
But the thing is, I don't want to edit the commit message because the commit message is absolutely fine.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is git commit minus amend minus no edit.
What's no edit?
Okay.
I actually don't know this.
Right. So if I do git commit amend, I get this, and I'm amending the commit, right? If I do a git commit minus no edit, it just amends it. And
all right. No dash no edit. We're good.
No, we're not good because I didn't add it, so it still didn't do it.
Fucking git.
I know, right? Git. Now, if
all caps. Let's do it
again. Now he's happy.
All right. So we're good.
Yes. Now I do a put again. Same thing as before.
Right.
All right.
What's fascinating is that you just keep pushing to the same ref, right?
And it's the same change ID to the same change. As long as you're keeping the same change ID, it will be a new patch.
If the change ID is in there, then it's like, okay, I'll figure out where this goes.
Yeah.
Right. It could be you could be on any branch.
Yeah.
And you still push to refs for main.
Yes.
Right. Like, and it's like, okay, I know this is not open before, so I do a new thing, or this is already opened and it's a change to a thing I've done before.
And it tells
you. Do it again, just so we can see what happens when you try to change, like push something that it already knows about. Because I find that fascinating too, right? Where it's like, because this one says success. This one says, nope, I've seen it before.
Yeah.
You've already pushed it. You don't need to push it again. I'm aware of this change.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's nothing you really need to do here.
No.
It is a very, very different model than the normal Git model of I have a tracking branch that needs to be merged at some point and then deleted.
It may be something we didn't highlight, but if you see here, when before I amended, so let's say before I amended, I wasn't commit 486 blah blah blah. After I amended, it did create like I do have a different SHA, so I am tracking that. It's not like it's not being tracked. And then when I pushed it, the remote told me, look, I updated a change. If we scroll up to when I created it, it said new. Right, so you know I've updated a change. Let's go on it.
Oh yeah, so there's updated instead of new.
Yes, exactly. So let's go on it, and now I've got patch to 3. So when we left, we had patch to 2. Now I've got patch to 3.
All right, this is a thing that GitHub is very bad at.
Yes,
right? And GitLab is very bad at, right? Because they do branch-based review.
GitLab less than GitHub, from what I understand.
The way that the normal Git branches work, you have to do a force push in order. Like if you amend something in your history, you have to do a force push, right?
Which we didn't have to do.
Which we did not have to do. Like you just push, you always push, and it says this is new work, or I've already seen this work, or whatever. But like it's not, it doesn't fail, right? Like it's like okay, like you don't have to do dash dash. You never have to do dash dash force, right? It's saying here is a version of this change, but for this commit, here's all the versions of this commit we've had, right? So you can amend the commit, you can move stuff into it, like you can squash shit into it or whatever, and you just push to the same ref again, and it's like, okay, here's a new version of this patch, right?
Exactly.
And I find this very, very fascinating because GitHub is not good at this, and GitLab is not good at this. So
if you amend with GitHub and force push, and say you've only changed the comma, a new reforce push, you completely lose track of everything you've already reviewed and need to restart reviewing from zero.
Let's say we had done this, right? Like now we look at the branch and we just see the whole joke. We don't see, oh, it started with a thing, like with a premise, and now the punchline comes, right? And that's the difference between A and B. But here we can definitely see that, right?
And it tells you, look, on patch set 1, you received this comment. So now, obviously, I've done all of this with my own account, but say that, Scott, you had an account and you did a review on patch set 1, and then you came back to review this, now that's on patch set 3. It would show your image here and say, right, that's the last time I left this out. Let's see, left this off. Let's see where we've gone from there, right? And now I can see the commit date obviously has been updated, and we'll talk about this more in a second. But there you go. So I've already got my joke, I've got the difference there, and...
How do we get this into mainline?
Very easy.
Now
what do we do? Do we give it a +2? It was a pretty bad joke. I don't know.
Now it's a +2.
I don't know that this gets a +2.
Clearly the best Italian joke that's ever happened. So it is a plus. Can we do a +3?
Under pressure from Scott, I am merging this.
What happens
Actually,
now?
before I do that, let me resolve this comment just for the sake, just because it makes me happy. And then, a submit
button. So you're ready to submit. So now... Submit. So what does submit mean?
Submit means merge again into the
merge.
Exactly.
Can you do a squash merge or rebase or?
So do you want to see that? Let's submit it. But you can decide that in the submit settings of the project. So if we go here and we go in the repo settings and we go here, we see submit type merge if necessary. You can set that up to whatever you want it to be.
Okay, there's a lot. All right, fair enough. All right.
I think merge if necessary is pretty much all you do. Well, most people use that.
I wanted to see the interdiff, right? Like, what is the difference between change set 1 and change set 2?
So this is patch set 1, and this is what we showed earlier, right? So patch set 1 to patch set 3, or patch set 2, if you want to show something different, to patch set 3. There you go. This is the interdiff.
Right, okay.
Shall we create a different change? And we go over that, and then we can show stacked changes.
Sure.
Let me go on my, okay, so now I've pushed this. Let me go back on main, I should say. Okay, cool. I don't know, let's do another joke. I've got one for you now. Right. I recently lifted 100 kilo dumbbell with my toes.
Oh boy, I'm glad that word was toes.
And let's add this to the README, all right? Cool, so we're back here. Let me add this. Cool, let me commit this. God, all caps. And I shall, obviously this is a new commit, so we're not amending anything, we're making a new one. Dani's first joke, which is gonna be just as bad. Minus
it's a -2 at best.
Of course. All right, git push. And 3, 2, 1, there we go. All right. The thing is, now, if we go and review this, do we want to add another joke? And we've got 2 jokes on the go. I just flew in from Chernobyl. Is that all right?
Yep.
All right.
Scott's second joke.
Second joke. All right. So now what do you think is going to happen if I push this for main?
The commit would make a new change set. And so it would be probably a connected set.
I'm going to do a change first. Sorry. Git commit amend. I'm going to amend this. No, edit. Come on.
Jesus, no.
I know. Let's remove this and say third joke. I know it's incorrect, but we'll get there.
Did you do the same change ID?
Yeah, because it's still there. So if I push this for main.
Sure.
Now, see, new change. We go on this. And now we have a relation chain. Dani's first joke, Scott's third joke. So now, I guess it looks a bit awkward to me because of there's more, but anyway, it's fine. So if we expand this, again, we can see I recently lifted a 100 kilo dumbbell. We're missing the punchline again. So how, you might ask me, how do we go and edit a previous change? So again, we download, check out, go back in here, back in the detached state, and couldn't care less about it. All right, so now we want to add a punchline. I have a punchline for you. Do you want to guess what the punchline is going to be?
I towed it across the line? No. Amazing feat! It's a good one.
Git commit, again, we do a git add of the README, and then we do a git commit amend minus no edit. and then git push. So you can chain all of these in one command. I've got an edit for it, but as you see, after the amend, created a new SHA-1, push it. Now we're gonna see, now this is gonna be interesting because we've updated the change that was earlier in the chain. I've reloaded the same patch set and it's telling me, this is not the latest patch set anymore. Go to the latest one, which is only patch set 2, fine. So now we've got our amazing feed joke in there.
Sure.
Cool, nothing wrong. Shall we approve it?
Yeah, we should. +2.
We should plus do it. Plus do it.
Cool.
Great joke. Because I've updated an earlier change in the chain, the new chain is not based on to the latest version of the previous chain, so it's in direct relation.
Interesting. I did not know that.
There you go.
Fair
right?
enough. Fair enough.
So let's leave things as they are, and let's go and see what we need to do about this latest change. First of all, I see here it gives you submitted together, so you can submit later changes in the chain at the same time as the previous one. Few things here. First of all, if we try to rebase, we're gonna get a conflict. But what I can do you remember we were talking about fearless rebasing in Berlin last year? This was already there. So you can allow rebase with conflicts, and we'll fix this later on, right? But what I'm doing is I'm now rebasing on the latest version of the previous change, of the previous change. And you cannot, and if you've got a chain of 10 commits, you can do that in one go, because you can say rebase all Manchesters.
Interesting.
And be done. So it makes it really easy to manage chains. So there we go. It's put it in whip state because I've got conflicts. So let's get down to reviewing this commit. So first of all, let's go into the README. Let's edit it.
We did it on the command line before. Let's do it here.
All right. So very easy. I just want to keep my amazing feed joke above this, and then we keep your thing in there. Done. We agree?
Let's put some lines in between these so we know what the difference is. But yeah.
Should we do that?
Yeah.
Save and publish.
All right. Fair enough.
Now, do you notice anything wrong with this change? In GitHub or GitLab, your PR description is not your commit message.
Right.
Because we've only got one commit per change, the commit message of that commit
is lost.
The commit. Oh, sorry, in GitHub, yes, because you essentially lose the commit.
I mean, the PR description is lost, right? Like
the PR description is lost.
The Git history at all.
Whoever decides to merge it, type something in, it's merged. While here, the commit message is reviewed.
Right.
So I can, as it was any file, and very simply, I can just press C to comment and say, second joke. All right. There you go. Done. I'll apply my edit, publish edit, publish it, and everybody's happy. Start review. This is now resolved.
+2.
+2. You are right. And a verified.
It's
I
so
apologize.
good.
And now I can do submit including parents. So what this is going to do is going to submit the whole chain.
I want to get my punchline in.
Oh shit, we forgot. Yes, sorry.
Boy, are my arms legs.
I am not laughing at this.
Voilà.
So what you would do is you would reply to this. I'll then apply my edit. And that is it. Right. Let me close this off and then
Submit.
Ah shit, I forgot to vote on it. +2.
+2. +2.
Submit including parents. Be done.
Listen, thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for
I really
having me.
appreciate it. This is super fun. The beginning of my career was Gerrit. The end of my career is probably Gerrit after this episode. To get.
To get, all right.